Paltrow said she told an intimacy coordinator to step back while she was filming scenes with Timothée Chalamet. The actors were on the set of their upcoming movie Marty Supreme when the coordinator asked Gwyneth if she'd be comfortable with a certain move during an intimate scene. And Gwyneth, who admitted that she didn't actually know that intimacy coordinators even existed, said she would feel very stifled by someone telling them what to do, so she asked the woman to step a little bit back.
Okay, so we need to talk about what's happening with Gwyneth Paltrow right now because this is absolutely insane. Her daughter Apple Martin is trying to launch a music career, and let's just say the internet has thoughts. But that's not even the messiest part. There's also this whole situation with Timothée Chalamet that has Gwyneth looking kind of desperate. And I cannot wait to break this all down for you. We're talking nepotism, mean girl allegations, and some seriously awkward movie drama. So grab your snacks, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Apple Martin is debuting her music career, but the Coldplay fans? Yeah, they are not excited about Chris Martin's daughter, especially after hearing the alleged mean girl at her first live show. Oh no, this could not be real. We are watching Apple Martin, the daughter of Chris Martin from the legendary Coldplay, singing on stage. But it sounds more like karaoke. I mean, it's rough, you guys. It kind of helps when the guy starts to come in and they're harmonizing, but still. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Apple Martin has tried to get into modeling. Her mother is Gwyneth Paltrow. Her father is Chris Martin. They are both A-list celebrities. Gwyneth is a great actress. Coldplay is great at performing. I've seen him live before and he is excellent, but it looks like he did not train his daughter the same way. Or maybe the NEPO-BABY situation just didn't work out this time. Somebody said that nepotism has killed art. This is a nepotism baby I don't support. And aren't we bored with nepotism yet? I think there are times where it's okay, because some of these artists raise these children and they end up being incredibly talented, and they have the connection, so it makes sense. I'm not going to hate on all the Nepo babies, especially the ones who are doing well, but it seems like Apple just can't figure it out. And we've talked about Apple before on this channel because she's had a bad reputation.
Why is Gwyneth Paltrow's daughter such a total mean girl? Recently, Apple Martin made her high society debut as one of 20 young women at an exclusive dance, but she was criticized as a mean girl because she stole the spotlight from another girl.
She's had a bad reputation of being like a mean girl. Like a truly mean person to people in high school, to people out in public. And you know what? I've never met her. I don't know her. Maybe she's okay. But there are so many stories about her that, you know, if there's smoke, there's fire. People on social media are saying that nepotism is wild. People with ordinary talent get the spotlight. I've seen better singers in my town's middle school play. Somebody said, I sound the same after a few drinks at karaoke. This article calls Apple a model, which, you know what? She's walked a few runways. I guess she gets the title. She's studying at Vanderbilt University. Law, history, and society. It looks like Gwyneth and Apple recently did a campaign with Gap. She's out here getting these big campaigns. She actually became a Chanel girl. And we learned that Karl Lagerfeld, the designer, when Apple was 4, looked at her and said, "You're going to be a Chanel girl." You've got to say that has something to do with nepotism, which brings me to this whole conversation about fairness.
What's worse than a Nepo baby is a Nepo baby who bullies their classmates to the point where they want to unalive themselves. Let me introduce you to Apple Martin, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Chris Martin's daughter.
Do you think it's fair for the children of famous people to be banking on that fame? Or is it unfair to people who are actually talented? It's definitely not fair. Absolutely not fair. It is the definition of unfairness. But as the child of somebody, you get access that other people don't have, right? So the playing field is not level. However, once your foot is in the door, which you unfairly got in, then you have to work almost twice as hard and be twice as good because people are ready to pull you down and say you don't belong there, and you're only there because of your dad or your mom. You know what I've learned living in Los Angeles? Life is just kind of unfair. Some people are Nepo babies. Some are trust fund kids. Holy crap! When I hear about some of these people I've met in LA, I'm like, wait, your dad creates what? Your dad owns what? It's insane. But speaking of Gwyneth, there's something even more interesting happening right now with her new movie.
When Apple found out of course, Timothée Chalamet was in it, then that sealed the deal.
It's like, yeah, Mom, you have to do this. But then this photo.
Yeah, that was bad.
This one went, oh yeah, that is. Yeah. Now, when this happens, did you get just messages, texts?
Yes, it's just like you're trying to have this scene, and then, it's a private moment, and then there are paparazzi, and then it was like all my mom group texts were like,
Oh my God!
oh my God, like, they were on fire.
Gwyneth Paltrow and Timothée Chalamet should be doing press soon for their movie Marty Supreme. This movie is about him having a relationship with her. He's playing a ping pong champion. They have some intimate scenes, which is something Gwyneth was talking a lot about a couple months ago because she was all giddy that she was doing things with Timmy. But this is so shady because supposedly Timothy begged Julia Roberts to star in the movie before settling for Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh, that hurts. That's got to hurt. It's not every day that you put Gwyneth Paltrow and settling in the same sentence. But there are new claims that Timothy did exactly that when Julia Roberts turned down the movie. Timothy begged Julia to play his love interest in Marty Supreme. Julia was offered, but there wasn't enough to tempt her. Instead, Gwyneth played the role. Speaking to Radar, a source claimed that Timothy was keen to work with Julia on his movie. And it's not like Julia didn't want the role, but Timothy is just too young for her. She's 58 and he's 28 years younger. She wants to work with Timothy, but turned it down after reading the script. She just didn't think audiences would buy her playing a romantic interest to someone who's so much younger. Producers, including Timothy, tried their best to convince Julia. They even offered her close to $20 million for this movie, but it was a firm no. Which, honestly, shout out to Julia Roberts for standing down. She didn't want to do this. She didn't like the story. She felt it could be told better without her. And that is so refreshing. Turning down $20 million? I could never. And I have a feeling this rejection made things even more awkward for Gwyneth, especially considering how she talked about those intimate scenes.
Talking to Vanity Fair, the 52-year-old remembered telling the coordinator, "Girl, I'm from the era where you get naked, you get in the bed, the camera's on." She also joked that the age difference between herself and Timothée Chalamet only really dawned on her while they were recording the scenes, saying, "Okay, great, I'm 109 years old, you're 14.
I have a feeling that Gwyneth was too happy to get this role because she was okay with those intimate scenes. There were even reports that Gwyneth told the intimacy coordinator to step back when she was getting it on with Timothy for the scenes. And that just makes me kind of cringe inside because she was just really in the moment. She didn't even want the coordinator there. Gwyneth Paltrow said she told an intimacy coordinator to step back while filming sex scenes with Timothée Chalamet. The actors were on the set of Marty Supreme when the coordinator asked Gwyneth if she'd be comfortable with a certain move during an intimate scene. And Gwyneth, who admitted she didn't actually know intimacy coordinators even existed, said she would feel very stifled by someone telling them what to do. So she asked the woman to step back. Now, these advisors are hired on set to make actors feel safe while recording intimate scenes, and they became the norm after the Me Too movement. Talking to Vanity Fair, the 52-year-old remembered telling the coordinator, "Girl, I'm from the era where you get naked, you get in the bed, the camera's on." She also joked that the age difference between herself and Timothy only really dawned on her while they were recording the sex scenes, saying, "Okay, great, I'm 109 years old, you're 14. You know what? Now I know why Kylie Jenner was so bothered by Gwyneth talking about these scenes and making a big deal about it. Because Gwyneth was like, fully in. She was method acting to the max. And while Gwyneth was busy talking about her movie role, Apple was making headlines of her own.
Haughty is a very choice word for the way Apple acted here. And there's a lot of people noticing.
Apple Martin came on my radar back in December because she was going viral after going to the debutante ball in Paris. It's an event where a bunch of young girls from rich families and powerful parents get together. They dress in these crazy dresses and get their photos taken. And Apple Martin actually went viral for all the wrong reasons because she was in line to go get her photo taken and kind of skirted up and sucked out all the energy in the room. Somebody said that she just came in and stole that girl's thunder. She reminds me of one of Cinderella's stepsisters. And that looks like a scene in a teenage movie where the mean girl steals someone's show. A source close to Gwyneth Paltrow actually went to the press after that clip went viral to say that Apple is a girl's girl, that she would never mean to take the spotlight from anyone. That was not her intention. But later on, there was a clip where you could see Apple Martin rolling her eyes at her date, Count Leo Cosima Henkel von Donnersmarck. Wow, that is quite the name. With a name like that, I had to look up this man. It looks like he's an Austrian-Hungarian noble from the prominent von Donnersmarck family. How do they have money, though? Oh, the Second Industrial Revolution. That's old money. There's no doubt in my mind that Apple was a little shady there, but her mother Gwyneth insists that she is a star child and has never done anything wrong, which brings us to some concerning allegations.
Apple was actually kicked out of Harvard Westlake, which is a very pretentious school for these Nepo babies to go to, and it's because she was bullying people so badly that, again, a girl wanted to take her own life.
Gwyneth says she's been giving her children so much freedom that they've achieved so much, and she's so proud of them. But people on Reddit were tearing her response apart. Reddit can be a dangerous place. This person writes, "She hasn't achieved anything. You usually need to have some sort of success to have an attitude. Her mother is an absolute narcissist, so she really has no chance in life. She's also bullied at least one girl at school so severely that the girl moved schools." One person actually emailed me their experience, writing, "I'm a journalist myself, and I have a scoop on Apple. One of the reasons why she was expelled from school was because she was part of this Cartier girl group, where only girls with the then new and very pricey Cartier love bracelet could be a member. It has a special screwdriver to take it off. It's kind of bulky and uncomfortable looking. But this clique of girls mocked and bullied other students who couldn't afford them. A mother of one of the girls who was teased told my friend who owns a famous store in LA that Apple wasn't the only one, but several of the crew were expelled as well. They're trying to use these buzzwords to dilute online reports of her previously brutally bullying a girl and getting expelled for it. I do think there was a point where she switched schools within high school, and you know what? High schoolers don't know better. I don't think bullying is acceptable, but it gets even more concerning when you look at the school environment.
Now, supposedly Gwyneth was very upset that her daughter Apple got kicked out of school, especially this bougie school, but it looks like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because Gwyneth has had her own allegations of bullying before.
The school that she was attending back in 2017 actually had to send out a letter to family members because there were so many people using the N-word on campus. I cannot imagine being in high school and everyone is just so comfortable using this word. And it's gotten so bad that parents are getting a letter because everyone can't stop saying it. A source close to Chris Martin said that Apple's a very talented musician. Well, think about that video we saw in the beginning. The schools in Santa Monica have an excellent music program, but supposedly Gwyneth refuses. She thinks Apple should stay at Harvard Westlake, the racist school, because of its impeccable reputation for sending students to the top colleges. Wait, that's starting to make sense. So we've got this really hateful, vitriolic society here in this school, and they're going to the top schools, and they end up getting the top positions? Somebody quoted Gwyneth Paltrow and says, "This explains a lot." Talking to People, Gwyneth said about her daughter and her friends, "They have, and I mean this in the best possible way, a sense of entitlement that's beautiful. It's not spoiled. They are here for what the boys are going to get." Somebody else said, "I was just talking to my daughter's friend about Apple this weekend. They go to school together at Vandy. She's known for being generally awful. She also keeps allegedly auditioning for musical theater productions and isn't talented enough." But you guys know I love a good blind item breakdown, and we have some that involve this family that are absolutely wild.
We've got Reddit threads where people are talking about how she was kicked out of Westlake Harvard, she went to another school, then she created enemies there as well. This message reads, Apple was widely known as a bully, and her grade school clique was called the Bad Apple Gang. She was really awful.
This one is kind of recent, and it makes my stomach sink reading this. If an artist drops out of the Desert Festival, this foreign-born A-list singer in a group has convinced the group to give the spot to his untalented offspring. So, I don't know what this means. Maybe Apple Martin could potentially be performing at Coachella? Wow, that is actually nepotism at its extreme. This is from 2024 back in December when these stories started to break. It says, if you bully someone so terribly that they attempt to harm themselves, should you really be rewarding the bully with an over-the-top party? How about some community service? How about the A-list mom and dad show some backbone and not just write a check? This is again from December 2024. Will the friends of the girl who was bullied reveal what the spoiled Nepo-Baby's parents said to her in private? If they do, they should be scared for their career. Gwyneth and Chris have kept their kids pretty low-key. They're private. Now that Apple is in her 20s, she's 21 right now, she's starting to have her own career, and public life is important. There are some people who speculate that some of these blind items allude to an idea that maybe one of these students who had a bad experience could have had some type of agreement that they're not going to talk about this again in the future. There are NDAs everywhere over in Hollywood, the industry, and it seems like this family might be using them. Her mother has never denied that, and nor has she. I don't think anybody's frankly had the balls to ever ask them. But a lot of stuff went around about Apple being a mean girl at her debutante ball in Paris. And someone close to Gwyneth Paltrow issued a statement to the Daily Mail saying, "Apple's more playful and fun, and she's really a total girl's girl. Beware anybody who says they're a girl's girl. Real girls never say that. They just are. You can sense it." This source goes on to say, "To characterize her as a mean girl is totally untrue. If you have to deny it like that, I think it's true. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that Apple Martin is a bad, evil person. I don't think so. I think it's all about environment and situation, which really makes you think about privilege and access in general." Anyways, I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you are a fan of Apple Martin's music. I mean, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. She's pretty much a robot when she sings. And you know what? That's okay. I prefer the robot than something else like what we saw earlier. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Do you feel like Apple deserves a chance to prove herself? Or is this just another case of nepotism gone too far? And what about Gwyneth and this whole Timothy situation? Is it as awkward as it seems? Or are we reading too much into it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and send this to a friend who's been following the Paltrow-Martin family drama as hard as we have. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!